What if a country could feel like stepping into a mirage and finding out it's real? This is Morocco, a place where ancient cities still breathe, where the desert hums with memory, and where colors don't just exist, they sing. One moment, you're lost in a maze of lantern-lit alleys, with the scent of cumin and rose water drifting through the air. The next, you're standing alone in a sea of golden dunes, watching the sky catch fire as the sun disappears behind the Sahara. Would you climb into a blue-painted dream, tucked into the mountains? Walk through palaces built by sultans and silent citadels shaped by sand? Or follow the call of waves crashing beneath stone fortresses, where pirates once watched the horizon? Most visitors come for the stories they've heard, but today you'll discover the ones they've missed. Hidden fortresses carved into cliffs, markets that pulse like music, and mountains that echo with secrets. And if you stay until the end, we'll reveal a hidden gem deep in the Rif Mountains, so lush and otherworldly, it almost feels imagined. What if I told you there's a place where color is protection, silence is sacred, and time bends in the shape of dunes and alleyways? Before we take you across Morocco's most breathtaking places, let's see how well you really know this country. Which of these do you think is true? A. Morocco is home to the world's first written cookbook. B. There's a village that holds weekly donkey parades. Or C. In one desert town, people use music instead of maps. Choose your answer and drop it in the comments. We'll reveal the truth later in the video. Now, let's uncover some of Morocco's most fascinating secrets. In the city of Fes, the world's oldest working leather tannery still runs on medieval methods. From a rooftop, the scene looks like a painter's palette. Massive stone pits filled with crimson, saffron, indigo, and emerald dyes. But the smell? Let's just say it's intense. Workers still soften hides with pigeon droppings and limestone, the same way their ancestors did 1,000 years ago. To cope, visitors are handed fresh mint leaves to hold under their noses. Head north, and you'll find Chefchaouen, the famously blue city. But the reason behind the color is more than aesthetic. Many believe the blue wards off mosquitoes, while others say it keeps the soul close to heaven. Whatever the truth, wandering through these powder blue alleyways feels like walking through a watercolor dream. But Morocco is full of contrasts. Just hours from the desert, you'll find the alpine town of Ifrane, where winter blankets rooftops with snow and cedar forests line the hills. Locals call it Little Switzerland, and for a moment, you'll forget you're in North Africa at all. And then there's the desert, where the past hasn't been buried, just fossilized. Near Erfoud, you can hold an ammonite in your palm, a spiral-shelled sea creature older than the dinosaurs, pulled straight from ancient seabeds buried beneath the dunes. But not all Moroccan legends are carved in stone. In Berber tradition, blue is more than a color. It's a shield. Nomads once painted their skin with indigo to confuse evil spirits and signal peace to strangers. The color still runs through their fabrics, their doors, their desert paths. And here's one more secret hidden in plain sight. Deep beneath the city of Marrakech lies an underground network of water channels known as the Qattara, a 1,000-year-old irrigation system that still silently feeds gardens, riads, and fountains above. Now that you've seen the magic beneath the surface, it's time to explore the soul of Morocco itself. So come with us as we journey through the most incredible places this country has to offer. Because the Morocco you think you know is only the beginning. Morocco doesn't ease you in, it drops you straight into the fire, and nowhere burns brighter than Marrakech. This is where our journey begins, in a city that pulses with movement, sound, and color. The air tastes like spice and smoke. Drums beat in the distance. Around you, lanterns flicker over endless alleyways that twist into the souks, an ancient maze of leather, perfume, silk, and dust. Every stall tells a story. Every corner hides another. And then, without warning, the chaos clears. And you're in Jamar el-Fna, the city's thundering heart. Here, time folds into rhythm. By day, snake charmers sway to the sound of flutes. By night, grills blaze beneath clouds of cumin and saffron. Musicians gather in tight circles. Storytellers spin legends to strangers. You don't just walk through the square, you're pulled into it. But Marrakech is built on contrast. Behind the noise lie sanctuaries of stillness. Open the door to a riad, and the city exhales. Orange trees bloom in hidden courtyards. Fountains murmur in silence. Sunlight plays across mosaic tiles. It's not just a place to rest. It's where the city lets you breathe. Further in, the Bahia Palace dazzles with deliberate beauty. Walls carved by hand, ceilings painted like dreams, and sunlight dripping through stained glass. A masterpiece built to impress a nation, and it still does. Nearby, the El Badi Palace tells a different story. Crumbling stone, empty reflection pools, silence. Storks nest on its broken walls, watching over the ruins of a vanished empire. It's a reminder that nothing here lasts, except the feeling it leaves behind. And then you find the city's boldest color, Majorelle blue. In a garden painted like no place on earth, cactus shadows stretch across cobalt walls. This was once the artist Jacques Majorelle's private retreat, later Yves Saint Laurent's creative sanctuary. And now it's one of Marrakech's most unforgettable secrets. Climb a rooftop at dusk, and the whole city glows. The call to prayer echoes from the Koutoubia Mosque. The light softens, and for a moment, the noise falls away. The heat clings to your skin as you cross the dry riverbed, and suddenly, there it is. Aït Benhaddou, a fortress of red earth carved into the hillside, still holding the shape of every hand that built it. From a distance, it looks almost unreal. Mud brick towers rising like a mirage from the valley, their jagged edges outlined by the desert sun. But up close, every wall tells a story. This was once a crucial stop for caravans journeying between Marrakech and the Sahara. Traders passed through with salt, gold, and stories. Some stayed, some never returned. Inside the Qasar, silence settles like dust. The alleyways are narrow and steep, shaded by overhangs and arched passageways. You follow them upward, past hand-painted doors and crumbling granaries, until the view opens wide. Below, the Unila River and a patchwork of palms. Beyond, the Atlas Mountains, watching from a distance. At the summit, a lone villager sells flatbread wrapped in cloth. No signs, no display, just the scent of warm dough and a quiet nod. Her family has lived here for generations, in a home carved from the same clay as the walls. Beneath your feet, the ground hides history. Grain pits once used to store barley during long winters, dug deep and cool into the earth. There are no plaques, just stories, passed from elder to child, spoken in quiet Berber. And though it's now famous as a film set, Gladiator, Game of Thrones, The Mummy, the real magic isn't cinematic, it's sensory. The way the clay glows when the sun begins to fall, the sound of wind brushing through an empty corridor, the weight of a place that has endured more centuries than names can count. The road coils upward, and in the distance, the earth begins to rise, ridge after ridge, until the peaks of the Atlas Mountains cut across the sky like a stone horizon. They are Morocco's spine, towering, ancient, unpredictable. These mountains stretch for over 2,500 kilometers, dividing the desert from the coast, holding entire worlds between them, forests, rivers, frozen peaks, and villages that still live by the sun. As you climb, the land transforms. Red dust gives way to pine. Shadows fall across steep valleys where clay homes cling to the slopes, blending into the mountainside like they grew from the rock itself. In one of these villages, a woman steps from her doorway to hand you a glass of mint tea, so hot it burns your fingers. She doesn't speak. She just smiles. And somehow that's enough. For trekkers, Imlil is the gateway. From here, trails lead deep into the high Atlas, including the path to Mount Toubkal, North Africa's highest peak. Reaching the summit is more than a physical climb. It's a perspective shift. From the top, you see the full range of Morocco laid out in silence: desert, ocean, mountains, sky. But not everything in the Atlas demands altitude. In the Eureka Valley, rivers thread through cherry orchards and clay villages. In Uzud, waterfalls thunder into blue pools below, while monkeys leap through the fig trees. In winter, snow dusts the peaks, and in Ukaimeden, ski tracks carve through white powder, just a short drive from the palms of Marrakech. And then there are the secrets. High above the trail from Imlil, there's a flat rock ledge locals call Tizi Natamatert. No signposts, no railings, but on a clear morning, they say you can see all the way to the Sahara, like the whole country is breathing beneath your feet. The wheels screech around the final switchback, and suddenly, Dade's Valley opens wide beneath you. Copper cliffs tower on both sides, carved by wind and time into shapes no architect could dream up. The air tastes like dust and river water. Somewhere below, a lone motorcycle weaves through the canyon, vanishing into the light. This stretch of the Atlas foothills is one of Morocco's most surreal landscapes, where erosion has sculpted entire cities into rock. Locals call them the monkey fingers, or the brain of the earth. Jagged, folded, alien. It's like the mountains themselves are trying to rise up and speak. Down at the riverbed, green pushes through the dust. Palm groves lean toward the water. Stone villages cling to the cliffs, their walls the same color as the earth. You'll pass men tending olive terraces and kids racing past on bikes, the wind lifting their laughter into the canyon. And then the road begins its famous descent, the Dade's Gorge switchbacks. From above, the tarmac loops and coils like it's been drawn by hand. One wrong move, and you drop into silence. But for drivers here, it's a dance they know by heart. Watch long enough, and the curves become poetry. In spring, the valley turns soft. Wildflowers bloom beneath apricot trees. The red rock blushes in the morning light. And in quiet corners, you'll find women weaving mats by hand and rosewater bottles laid out on blankets to catch the breeze. Inside one forgotten kasbah, the air is cool and dry. The mud walls breathe. A single painted window glows blue against the stone. There are no signs, no ticket booths, just echoes. The wind shifts, and suddenly the dunes begin to move, not with speed, but with light. In the early morning, just outside Masuga, the Sahara doesn't rise, it unfolds, one ridge at a time, wave after wave of orange and gold. This is where silence has weight, not emptiness, but presence. The sand is warm beneath your feet, cool just beneath the surface. Your breath slows, your thoughts follow. And then, nothing. Just the sound of your camel's steps through the Erg Chebi dunes. These aren't just any dunes. Erg Chebi is one of the Sahara's most iconic landscapes, with peaks reaching nearly 150 meters. People come here to chase sunsets, to find stillness, and to feel small, in the best possible way. Later, just before dusk, the light begins to soften. You're riding a camel through the dunes, no roads, no sound, just the sway of the saddle, the crunch of hooves, and the sun turning the sand to fire. For a moment, the Sahara glows like it's breathing. By night, the desert reveals its other self. The sky turns black and sharp. Stars spill across the horizon, uninterrupted by cities, roads, or noise. In Merzouga's desert camps, music rises beside the fire, ancient rhythms shared under wool blankets and wide skies. Wake before dawn, and you might see it. The moment the first light touches the top of the dunes, a golden line that moves slowly down, warming the desert inch by inch. Guides say it's the moment the Sahara wakes up. But Merzouga isn't just dunes. Visit Lake Diet Srij, and if the season is right, you'll find flamingos standing in shallow water just meters from the sands. Stop at a Nawa village nearby, where drums echo through adobe walls and musicians play songs brought by ancestors who once crossed the desert in chains and turned pain into rhythm. The door swings shut behind you, and suddenly Fes surrounds you. The scent of cedar and saffron thickens in the air. An alley narrows, shadows climb the walls. Somewhere ahead, a cart rattles over stone, and you follow, drawn deeper into a city that doesn't reveal itself all at once. In Fes El Bali, the world folds in on itself. Over 9,000 alleys twist into a living maze. A boy carries bread on his head through a crowd. A minaret rises through the rooftops. A woman pauses in a doorway, offers a smile, and vanishes back into shadow. Every turn feels like a secret waiting to be found. In a quiet courtyard, sunlight spills across carved cedar and mosaic tiles. This is Al-Qarawiyyin University, still teaching after more than 1,000 years. You step inside. The silence is complete. Even the light feels slower here. Then, the Medina shifts. At the Chouara tannery, color explodes. Stone vats blooming with saffron, mint, indigo. Men stir hides in ancient dye, ankle-deep in history. The smell is sharp, the rhythm is old, and somehow, it never feels staged. Just beyond, a tiled arch opens into a madrasa. A man sweeps dust from Zeli stars. Every surface tells a story you can't read but still feel. On a rooftop above the maze, the breeze carries the scent of mint tea and smoke. Lanterns spark to life across the city below. And for a moment, the world is quiet, except for the soft rising echo of the call to prayer. Chefchaouen unfolds like a watercolor, layer by layer, stair by stair. Tucked into the Rif Mountains, its blue walls don't just surround you, they follow you, moving with the light, deepening with the shade. Even the air feels painted. You step through a narrow archway. The street curves ahead, washed in soft indigo. A woman waters potted herbs on her balcony, and the scent of thyme and soap drifts down. Children chase each other past doorways, painted in every shade of sky. This is a place that doesn't rush. In the Medina, each alley bends like a brushstroke. Cats nap beneath blue steps. A man peels oranges in a courtyard filled with birdsong. Everything feels suspended between color and calm. At the center stands the kasbah, its terracotta walls glowing warm against the blue. Inside, the hush of the gardens wraps around you. You climb the old tower, and the rooftops open wide below, layered like tiles, pressed against the mountains, glowing in the afternoon light. Farther uphill, the path to the Spanish mosque winds past wild rosemary and stone. At the top, Chefchaouen spreads out like a dream, vivid and quiet, blue on blue, cradled by clouds. Later, tucked into a cafe where the walls are etched with stories, a boy sets down a tray of mint tea. The glass is hot in your hands. Somewhere in the alley behind you, someone laughs. A door swings shut. The moment passes like a breeze, but lingers, like everything here. Rabat moves differently from the rest of Morocco. There's a calm confidence here, where ocean air drifts through ancient walls, and centuries of history hum beneath the sound of crashing waves. The old tram rolls past the white facades of the Ville Nouvelle, heading toward the coast. You step off near the kasbah of the Udayas, where time slips. Blue and white alleys wrap around you like ribbon, and carved doorways open into courtyards strung with jasmine and birdsong. At the cliff's edge, the sea waits, restless, wide, and always near. Inside the kasbah, a woman serves you mint tea in a quiet Andalusian garden. The walls are low, the light golden. And for a moment, the capital of Morocco feels more like a coastal village lost in a dream. In the heart of the city, the Hassan Tower rises like an unfinished thought, built to be the tallest minaret in the world, but left incomplete when its patron died. Its red stone glows warm in the afternoon light, surrounded by a forest of half-built columns. Nearby, guards on horseback stand outside the mausoleum of Mohammed V, where Morocco's kings rest beneath a ceiling carved like starlight. Wander deeper, and Rabat keeps opening. In the Chela necropolis, vines twist around Roman stones, and storks nest high in broken minarets. Musicians sometimes gather here at dusk, notes drifting between ruins and reeds, where ancient Morocco and lost empires still echo. And as night gathers, you walk the Corniche, watching the lights of the fishing boats blink out at sea. Behind you, the Medina glows soft and golden. Rabat doesn't rush to impress. It just is. And somehow that's what stays with you. Beneath the Atlantic sky, Casablanca begins at the water's edge. White marble reflects the light, and the sea crashes against the stone base of the Hassan II Mosque, a masterpiece that feels carved from prayer itself. Inside, everything is movement and stillness at once. Sunlight filters through stained glass. Chandeliers the size of trees hang from carved cedar. You step beneath an open ceiling where the sky feels impossibly close, and every echo sounds like a whisper from centuries past. But Casablanca doesn't stay quiet for long. The city stretches wide with motion, trams gliding through broad boulevards, palms brushing the wind, and rooftop cafes buzzing with life. At the Habas Quarter, you wander through sandstone alleys where bakers pull loaves from clay ovens and booksellers sit cross-legged in the shade of keyhole archways. Down by the shoreline, the rhythm changes. La Corniche unfolds in color. Beachfront cafes, crashing waves, families laughing in the breeze. You order sardines straight from the grill, salt still clinging to the skin. A boy runs past with a kite. Behind him, a group of teenagers leap into the surf, vanishing in white spray. Then there's the heart of Casablanca's past, the Art Deco downtown, where fountains and facades carry echoes of another era. The walls curve in symmetry. The light falls differently. You step inside the Villa des Arts, and it's like entering a quiet rebellion. Rooms filled with color, texture, and the future of Moroccan creativity. And when the city exhales, it does so in music. From the glow of rooftop terraces to the pulse of hidden jazz clubs, Casablanca lives its story not in monuments, but in sound. Prayer calls ripple over the sea. Glasses clink in twilight cafes. Somewhere nearby, a saxophone plays to no one in particular, and yet somehow, to everyone. The moment you arrive in Essaouira, the wind greets you like an old friend, warm, restless, and full of stories. It sweeps through the harbor where blue boats bob in rhythm, and salt clings to your skin like the city's memory refusing to let go. Past the ramparts, the Medina opens like a maze carved from sea mist and time. Doors painted every shade of blue line the alleys, their edges worn smooth by generations of hands. Inside, craftsmen shape thuya wood into delicate inlays, while the scent of orange blossom drifts from an open window above. You lose track of time in the souks. A merchant sings softly while arranging leather slippers in neat rows. A painter mixes pigments beside his canvas: cobalt, ochre, vermilion. In one quiet square, a musician leans into his guembri, the low hum of Nawa music blending with the rustle of linen in the breeze. Near the port, the rhythm changes. Wooden fishing boats unload their silver catch, and smoke rises from grills beside the water. You choose your fish, still glistening from the sea, and moments later, it's on a plate, charred, tender, and bright with lemon. Climb the stone walls of the Scala de la Ville, and the Atlantic stretches beyond the cannons, wide, wild, infinite. The wind is stronger here, carving music through the arches. Artists come for this exact feeling: the space, the silence, the sense that the world is both ancient and beginning again. The shoreline bends like a quiet promise as Agadir rises from the curve of the Atlantic. There's a sense of rhythm here: sand beneath your feet, sea wind in your ears, and the pulse of a city built on reinvention. You start at the coast. The promenade stretches wide and clean, lined with surf shops, cafes, and families sipping fresh orange juice in the sun. Far out, kite surfers cut across the waves like calligraphy on blue canvas, while joggers trace the water's edge in long, steady strides. But behind the beach, another side of Agadir waits. Climb the hill to the old kasbah, the only piece left from the earthquake that once shook this city to its bones. Its walls are worn, but they still hold the view. From up here, Agadir stretches far and wide, white buildings flowing into green parks, the marina shimmering with moored yachts, and the ocean rolling on with no end in sight. Back in the city, you follow the scent of grilled sardines into the Souk El Had. It hums with life. Rows of olives shine under the lights, mint leaves spill from woven baskets, and vendors call out prices in 3 languages. You try a date dipped in argan honey, and everything else seems to stop for a second. Then you move again, past cafes where elders lean over chessboards, past murals blooming on blank walls, past street corners where the air smells like cumin and salt. This is where the city breathes. And if you want to feel it fully, you head south at golden hour toward Tagazout. The road narrows, the cliffs rise, and the waves break louder. Surfers walk barefoot across the road, boards tucked under arms, chasing one more perfect ride before the tide turns. There's something electric in the air the moment you step into Tangier, a current that pulls you in and doesn't let go. Maybe it's the wind sweeping off the Strait of Gibraltar, or the way Europe feels just an arm's reach away across the water. But this city has always stood on a threshold between continents, cultures, and stories still unfolding. You begin in the Medina, not polished or perfect, but alive. Cats weave between doorways painted teal and gold. A boy rushes past, balancing a tray of mint tea above the crowd. From a nearby window, the call to prayer curls through the air, soft and layered over the clang of hammers in a copper workshop. Climb the stone steps to the Kasbah Museum, and you're inside what was once a sultan's palace, its gardens spilling over with orange trees, its halls echoing with stories from Roman mosaics to Moroccan dynasties. Outside, the view opens wide, Tangier sprawling toward the sea, its rooftops glinting like scattered coins. Further down, the Grand Soko pulses with rhythm. Here, old men argue over dominoes beneath rustling palms, and market stalls overflow with spices, carved wood, and strings of amber beads. Every corner feels like it's hiding a poem. And speaking of stories, remember that strange question we asked earlier? A cookbook, donkey parades, or music as a map? Time to settle it. The answer is C. In the small desert town of Risani, locals once used music to navigate. No GPS, no maps, just rhythm. The beat of drums echoing across the dunes like an ancient compass. Sounds like folklore, but it's real, and only in Morocco. Back in Tangier, you follow the curve of the coast toward the Caves of Hercules. The sea crashes in slow motion against the rock, carving silhouettes into the cliffside. Inside, you reach the cave mouth, and it looks just like the shape of Africa itself, cut perfectly by time and tide. You end in the Café Hafa, clinging to the hillside since 1921. Paul Bowles wrote here, "The Rolling Stones drank tea here. You sip your own beneath the vines, watching ferries drift towards Spain in the distance." There's a path that winds through the Rif Mountains, quiet at first, just the rustle of trees, the crunch of worn earth beneath your feet, and the distant echo of water pulling you forward. This is the way to Akchour, Morocco's secret paradise. You follow the trail as it hugs a narrow gorge where sunlight filters through the canopy like golden threads. Locals pass you with walking sticks and baskets of bread. Some stop at the God's Bridge, a natural arch carved by time, standing high above the river like something out of a forgotten legend. But the real magic waits deeper in. After an hour's walk, you hear it. A rising roar, not loud but constant. The trees part, and there it is, Akchour Waterfalls. Crystal water tumbles down layered rock into a jade-colored pool, clear enough to see your thoughts in it. Travelers sit barefoot on smooth stones, laughter blending with the sound of falling water. Some dive in, others just watch, holding mint tea in their hands as if afraid to blink. You climb a little higher, where smaller cascades tumble in stages, each one more hidden, more untouched. If you come early, the sun paints rainbows through the mist. Come late, and you might be alone with only the water, the breeze, and your breath. It's not just a waterfall, it's a feeling, a rhythm that slows the world down. And as this journey through Morocco comes to an end, Akchour leaves you with something rare, a place that asks for nothing, but still gives you everything. No cities, no schedules, just water, stone, and silence you'll want to carry with you long after the trail disappears behind you. Thank you for traveling with us through Morocco, from the ancient alleys of Fes to the golden stillness of Akchour. We've wandered medinas, climbed kasbahs, crossed desert dunes, and discovered secrets hidden in mountain mist. Which place captured your imagination the most? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to know what spoke to you. And if this journey sparked your sense of wonder, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Safe travels, and remember, the world is waiting for you, one unforgettable destination at a time.